and young,
Adam,
with,
bursts,
short,
quick.
short, bursts, Adam and young, quick, short, bursts, young Adam, quick, short, bursts, quick, short, bursts, quick, short, bursts, Adam and young.
How many nipples would you say you have?
2?
That's nice. Good for you.
How many do you have?
I'm not sure.
Why not?
I don't know if I want to know. Like I thought until recently that I had 2. I think I might have more. I just learned about how like extra nipples work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always had like I have a few moles and stuff, and I have them on my stomach and like a couple just on like my upper chest, and they don't like look like nipples. But I recently heard that does not matter. What matters is that this thing, if you have one of these things that looks like a mole or whatever, if it's along another term I learned is the milk line.
Yeah.
That's a nipple.
Oh shit.
So now I find
You have an udder?
Well, it's not an udder. It's just a nipple. If I had an udder, that'd be a dead fucking
like
giveaway, wouldn't
breastfeed a litter of puppies or
Well, and nothing's
kittens
no
or
milk
something?
is coming out. There again, you're like skipping ahead to dead giveaways. If I had milk leaking out of me, I'd
Yeah.
be very confident in the number of
Uh-huh.
nipples I have, but I'd have no confidence in anything else at that point. No, so now I find I don't want to know exactly where the milk line is because it's kind of like I have plausible deniability at this point about how many nipples I have.
Yeah.
I can just say I have 2, and it's
The milk line sounds like some kind of like region of Europe where there's a lot of dairy farms or something. This is the milk line of Germany, or...
That's right. It's kind of like a continental divide.
Yeah.
The milk line. It also that could be like a thrash hardcore band or something. The milk line.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. Yeah, especially if they're German. Krautrock band or something. Not krautrock. That's something different.
Oh,
like,
that was later. Yeah.
like German metal type thing.
Mm-hmm. Milchlinie.
Did you ever learn about why men have nipples?
No.
I remember I read this somewhere. It's because the nipples form in the fetus or the zygote or something. I don't know, but like it's before your sex is determined. That's why we have nipples, even though, and then later your biological sex is determined as you're developing.
Get locked in, and
Yeah.
they develop as they will. Which is the same, like we talked about, how the clitoris is analogous to the penis, and like there's all that stuff where it's like the body is developing, no matter, like it's just going full steam ahead. If, like there's some other part of it sitting back and going, oh, I don't know whether
to do here.
I'm
waiting to see what
male or female, and the rest of the body's like, we're going.
Yeah.
Like shit is happening, so
Yeah.
we'll make it up as we go along.
We have to set the preliminaries at least.
Yeah. But, I mean, I've also heard that actually some men can breastfeed. I don't know how that works.
Whoa, that's weird.
Yeah.
They probably have to take hormones or something, don't they, to start lactating?
That might be.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
I can tell you don't like that idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't, for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe I should get used to it.
Well.
But I was thinking that every man should have to reveal his penis size to everybody. Because we can more or less guess like every woman's breast size, right? I mean, as you get to know a person, if she's female, over time, you'll kind of be able to surmise her breast size, right? Mm-hmm. But they're not going to be able to guess our penis size.
No.
Because we got pants on. I mean, some guys might have a more prominent bulge or whatever.
Yeah, but that could also just be like an Axl Rose style sock or something.
Yeah, so I think we should have to be required, maybe even legally, to
disclose.
Tell everyone, yeah.
How much you're rocking.
Mm-hmm.
So this is about fairness for you?
I guess so.
Like equity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think that's a good idea or not?
I don't think it's ever going to go anywhere. But, I applaud the spirit of it.
Well, big things start out small.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to plant that seed right now. Mm-hmm. So hopefully it goes somewhere.
Yeah. Get a bill going or something.
Mm-hmm. So this week in world exploration, we're jaunting off to Rome The people here are so passionate and wonderfully full of life. I'm getting very horny, hungry, and excited just being around them. I'm at a pizzeria/gelateria and I'm going to order some food. Here comes the waiter.
Posso darti qualcosa da bere?
Yes, 1 beer please. And I'm ready to order food. I would like some olives and a margherita pizza please.
Molto bene, signore. Tornerò presto con la birra e le olive.
My mouth is watering. It smells delicious in here.
Ecco qua, signore. Godere.
Before you go, may I ask you a question?
Sì, come posso aiutarla?
Who invented pizza?
I napoletani.
I heard the Greeks actually invented it.
That's not going to go over well.
No, è italiano.
Do you have proof?
Vai in biblioteca e leggi un libro, per favore. Per l'amor di Dio.
Okay, no need to get your linguini in a Medusa's head about it.
Non mi mostri rispetto. Questo è vergognoso.
Well, at least the beer and olives are good.
Ecco la tua pizza italiana dall'Italia inventata dagli italiani. Prego.
Damn, bro, I get it. This is scrumptious. Boy, I've enjoyed that. That pizza was really good.
Dolce.
Yes, 1 pistachio gelato, please. I heard the Persians invented gelato.
What are you doing?
Devi lasciare questa pizzeria immediatamente.
Can I have my gelato first?
Assolutamente no. Per favore, vai.
Jeez, Italians get really worked up about their food. I was just curious, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna head over to the Palatine Hill to check out the ruins. I hear Rome was founded by the Trojans. Till next time, fellow travelers.
Such an instigator.
I wasn't instigating. I just
you're just combative.
wanted to get to the bottom of things.
Oh, I heard nothing that you have comes from you.
That's
How
not
do
what
you
I
feel
was
about that?
saying. I'm a history buff,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to know. I want to get to the bottom of things. I want to know where things truly originated from.
You already know.
Do I? I just want confirmation because I don't want to believe things that aren't true. So that's why I was asking him. So I hear that you guys didn't actually invent pizza or gelato, and that
I think you're like a lawyer where you
capital city
never
was
ask a
founded
question
by
you don't
someone
already
else.
know the answer to.
Maybe that was my true calling. I should have gotten into law.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to deal with the assholes in publishing, right?
Yeah. You know how Gwyneth Paltrow has this huge empire based on like self-care and what is it? Beauty regimens.
Yeah.
And all that. I don't even know how to encompass what it is that she does, but the company's called Goop.
Goop?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Goop.
Yeah, there was that whole thing recently about her candles that smelled like her own vagina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seemed to go away pretty quick. I saw a link to it. Like the candle was called This Smells Like My Vagina. And I clicked on it and it was already gone. Like the branding for it had changed and everything.
Yeah, it got ridiculed immediately by everyone.
Yeah. It's like a whole combination of navel gazing and kind of it's like self-fetishizing or something. I don't even know what to call it, but it's sort of peak self-indulgence, I would say. Anyway, one person I thought who has even more cultural cachet than Gwyneth would be Beyonce. And I came up with the perfect name for her company.
What?
Bed Bath and Beyonce.
Ah, that's a good one, actually. And they could have like a line of products named after Jay-Z.
Her shit would be way cooler than Gwyneth Paltrow's shit. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, I think so. You could have like I don't think you're ready for this jelly like body cream that you apply on your thighs and stuff.
Yep. That's perfect.
The other day, you know how it can be awkward if you say bye to someone and then you run into them again like soon after and you're like, what do I say? I just said bye to them already.
Yeah, we already did this.
Yeah, so I said bye to my coworker, right? And I got in the elevator like a few moments later. And I looked out and it was the same person. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to say bye again because that'll be awkward. So I just let the doors close on the person.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Just to avoid the...
Uh-huh. I was like, that'll be way too awkward to say bye again. And have to ride the elevator with them for a really long time. It would be weird.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoops.
Oopsie daisy.
I pretended like I was,
Yeah. You were
where's
mashing that door close
Where's
button.
that open door button?
Hope they weren't in a hurry.
And then I looked down before the doors closed because I didn't want to see the look on their face. And I was just pretending like I didn't notice them or something.
You didn't want them to see the shame on your face.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And the culpability. Speaking of etiquette like that, I was thinking about we're kind of in the middle of Corona mania here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's freaking out and worried about it feels like we should just all be bathing ourselves in triclosan right now. And anytime you go out, and I actually saw an article, I think it was in the Times the other night, about trying to come up with a good way, almost a standardized way to tell somebody when you meet them, I'm not going to shake your hand, but to still convey that amount of respect and everything, and but to have it go as smoothly as possible, or at least with as little awkwardness as possible. So they were discussing that a bit, but I think we just need a new kind of a new protocol there, where we kind of before you go in, you just do a handshake, but before you do it, you both squirt hand sanitizer into your palms, and then you shake hands. So you're sanitizing each other right there on the spot.
That's a good idea.
I think so.
There was a meeting at my work recently about the coronavirus and staying clean at work. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we would whenever you come back from lunch or whatever, or get into the office in the morning, for you to wash your hands, right? Mm-hmm. And I was washing my hands in the kitchen the other day, as soon as I got back from lunch. Mm. And it happened to be one of my new coworkers was in there, and she was introducing herself. And she and I both had the perfect excuse not to shake hands, because she was like, oh, you're washing your hands. And I was like, oh, my hands are wet. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have to shake hands.
That was easy.
And I was wondering if her timing was intentional or something, or whatever, but it just worked out perfectly that we didn't have to shake hands.
Yeah.
And I was glad too, because I didn't want to wash my hands again.
Right.
And I couldn't really, because it would be kind of rude to be like, oh, we just shook hands, so
I better wash my hands.
Wash my hands in front of you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's something deeply, I think it can't help but feel like a bit of a slap in the face, no matter what the circumstances are. Oh, you're unclean. I just assume that.
Yeah. You saying I'm infectious or something? You gotta clean up after you touch me?
And people have tried to do little things to get them instated, like touching elbows when you meet instead of shaking hands. Or even last night, I read about they'll just kind of tap the sides of their shoes together. They'll just each person reaches their right.
Oh, that's a good one.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never actually seen it, but I think it'd be kind of funny. But it's
I don't know if the elbow thing would work, because from what I've heard, the coronavirus can survive. The new coronavirus can survive on hard surfaces for a pretty long time. So if you leaned against something recently, it could still be on your elbow probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just hard to rub your elbow in your eye or something like that. So
yeah, that's true.
You're a little better off.
But I've always gone by that. I try not to touch my face as much as possible, because I know that that's how you get viruses into your body from influenza or whatever, the common cold. You touch your nose, your mouth, your eyes, it could get into your body, So. Yeah.
It's hard. There is just kind of... Do you find that you still kind of want to, and you have to catch yourself?
I've been out of the habit for a really long time. I don't do a bunch of face touching generally. So,
that's good.
You know that Don't Know Much About History song?
Yeah.
I don't know much about history, don't know much about algebra or whatever.
Yeah, geography, trigonometry, algebra. Yeah. French I took.
And I was like, man, this person really did not pay attention in class, right? I mean, he didn't have any subjects that he liked in school, not even one.
I mean, he knew 1 and 1 is 2.
And I was thinking, what kind of woman would want to marry this guy? He sounds like a loser. He didn't pay attention in any of his classes. He's like, I don't know anything. I don't know math. I don't know history. I don't know geography. Spelling. I can't do anything, but I like you a lot. You want to go out with me?
You know who sang that song, right?
I don't know. One of the Temptations? No. What was that band? No, I don't know. Who was it?
Sam Cooke.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just generally did not have a problem with the ladies, as far as I understand.
Oh, yeah. We talked about him recently. Last time we talked about him.
He was playing at a restaurant we went to lately.
Was that one of his really early songs?
I don't know. I don't know his kind of the chronology there. My sense is that it was a bit later.
That it was later?
Yeah.
Oh, to me, it seems like it would have been one of his really early hits, and then later he started doing more like...
He did, yeah, sorry, it wasn't like... More, you're right, because it was more progressive stuff, you know, in the like early mid-'60s. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're right. I don't think it was like a very early one of his, though. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that he was popular with women. I mean, a lot of women are attracted to certain types of dudes who aren't necessarily good in school or whatever, so...
Yeah.
I just thought it was a funny way to pick up a woman. I don't know shit, man. I didn't pay attention in class. You want to...
But he says,
grab an ice cream or something?
You know, what is it? He knows that he loves you.
That ain't enough. That's not going to pay the bills.
The whole point of the song is that it's enough.
There should be a line in the song about, I'm a really good singer and musician and I'm going to make enough money off this to
this is going to be okay.
To sustain us.
But the song just kind of is already telling you that. You have to zoom out and just go, listen to how kick-ass this song is.
That's true.
I came up with
blew
one.
that out of the water, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, I gotta step on him once in a while.
Yeah.
I came up with one that's almost... This feels like more of a Youngism than an Atomism, so I'm just going with it.
Okay.
The other day, I saw this... it was on a social media page. You know, there's a lot of that. Like, people will put up kind of mottos and just little, like, self-motivational thinking stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be, like, in a fancy typeface or whatever, and have little brackets on it and flowers and stuff. This probably had all of that. But it said...
An off-white background.
Yes, often. This one said something to the effect of, don't focus on eliminating your weaknesses, focus on accentuating your strengths. And it's, after I thought about it, it's one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard. Like, I got this chain. It's mostly made of like super thick titanium, but a couple of the links, just a couple of them, are like old crusty rubber bands, actually. So I want to strengthen it, and I think what I'm going to do is just really beef up that titanium, just really get that, you know, even more solid.
It actually doesn't work on that level, does it?
No.
Or maybe they're saying don't pay attention to your weaknesses?
My sense... You want to step on mine now? Is that what's going on? I think it's like they're trying to say don't dwell on your weaknesses or don't get all hung up, you know, thinking about how you can't do something because you have this weakness or whatever. But it's very different from, like, when you get down to the
wording is
super
pretty
glossed
poor.
over, like, yeah, you know, often there is something you can do about your weaknesses, and it isn't a bad thing to think about that. It's all that...
Just sweep it out under the rug. That'll take care of the problem, won't it?
Yeah. Think how much you can bench press, or I don't know, how good you are at people skills or something. I don't know. I'm
really dumb. I have poor work ethic, and I'm socially awkward, but I can bench press 500 pounds, so I'm just going to focus on bench pressing things.
I'm going to try to get that to
That's going to really get you through life, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work either.
No.
I was thinking in the future there's going to be serious dilemmas. You know, traditionally when you're a teenager, sometimes some people have stories about they got caught jerking off by their mom or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or a family member. And I'm like, you know, there's going to be some really developed VR soon, right? And that thing kind of envelops your head.
Right.
And you're totally just absorbed in this world. And there's probably going to be teens like jerking it to something in VR, right?
Yeah.
So they're not even going to know they got caught jerking off. Like your mom will go into your room and see you, and you'll just be jerking it, and you won't even know she's there. You'll be so absorbed in this virtual, you know, woman, right? And then your mom can just quietly close the door and never mention it, right?
Yeah. It never is discussed.
So that's like a totally new dilemma that's coming up here.
Do you think it would... I'm wondering if it would go that way, because I would still think as a teenager you'd be so uptight and like ashamed about being caught that you wouldn't do it with a visor on, you know, or you'd have like half the visor on and you'd be looking around or something.
Or you'd lock your doors and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, people still... Even now, I feel a lot of people would be like, I don't want to get caught, so I'm going to take precautions. But they still
get caught.
Still get walked in on by someone, you know?
Yeah. That never happened to me.
It would be hilarious to walk in on someone, right? Doing that. They're just going to town, right?
With no... you don't get the moment where they're like,
oh, I better... yeah! Right?
Yeah.
That would just be a really funny sight.
Yeah.
Quite a spectacle. You could probably watch them for several minutes and they wouldn't even know, and then you could walk out. Instead of walking out immediately, you could like watch them for a really long time.
You have that option.
Yeah.
I think My parents never caught me. I've never been caught masturbating, I don't think.
As far as I know, I don't think I was caught either.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got caught unless they did at some point. I didn't notice them or something, which I hoped it never happened.
Yeah.
Luckily, we didn't have VR back then to get sucked into.
Mm-hmm. One time, the closest I came to being caught was freshman year of college when you and I lived in that apartment. You almost caught me walking in when you walked in from like
oh really
a break between classes or something.
Shit.
And I think you were supposed to be gone at that point, but like you must have skipped class that day or something, and you came in, and I was like, I could, because we in that place we could hear people coming down the hall and everything, and I could hear somebody coming, but I was like, that's almost definitely not him. It can't be. So I was like, I just kept going at it, and then like the door was being plugged up. Like, oh shit! So I just got under the covers and acted like I was taking a nap.
Oh damn! I had no idea.
That's good.
Yeah. That would have been. Oh man! Imagine how awkward that would have been. Would we be hanging out right now?
Well, I don't know. I was never positive that you didn't at least kind of intuit a little bit that something was going on.
Well, if I did, I don't really remember it. But now I know about it.
Yep.
Which I didn't before.
Yeah.
I must have jerked it back then at some point in the apartment as well. I don't really remember particular sessions or anything like that.
Yeah. I only remember that one because I almost got caught. The adrenaline was going.
At that age, though, I'm sure it was happening a lot.
Well, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's easier to name the places you weren't masturbating at that point, probably.
And speaking of awkward situations, the other day I was walking to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had my headphones on, and I was just walking at the edge of the sidewalk, and then something caught my attention, right? Like, and I looked over, like, out of the side of my, like, sideways. I didn't turn my head. I just had my eyes look to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this couple, right, in a car, and they were kissing each other goodbye. And it was a white dude and an Asian girl. And I happened to look right when they stopped kissing, and she looked over at me, and she probably thought I was glaring at her. Like, I'm pissed off that there's like this interracial couple or whatever.
You think so?
I don't know. That's what I would imagine she thought, because I probably didn't have like a smile on my face. I was just kind of looking sideways at her.
Yeah, which does.
And I was
like
walking hurriedly to work, and I was like, she probably thinks I was like pissed off about that or something. But I could fucking care less about it. But it just probably came off that way. I thought.
I do that kind
of. Or maybe I'm just
time.
being paranoid.
I think it's mostly being paranoid.
Yeah.
I bet not much thought went into it.
Because I know some people think like, oh man, Asian guys really hate it when white guys date Asian girls, and I'm like, what? I don't care. I mean, it's not my choice, you know. It's the woman's choice who she wants to date. So yeah, but some people talk about that, you know, like white guys and Asian girls talk about that kind of thing. Like they'll be out in public and they'll get dirty looks from people or something like that, like Asian guys or something. And I was like, who does that? Like, would glare at a couple like that, you know? Yeah, I know it must happen sometimes, but
yeah, I've never seen that actually. That's funny. This is like a general. No, there's a lot about cleanliness today. You know, the Seattle Asian Art Museum opened back up recently. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it. Yeah.
You haven't been over there yet, though.
Nuh-uh.
So it's this cool old Art Deco building in Volunteer Park, and I went like almost as soon as it opened and checked it out, and you know, it was a pretty significant remodel and even an addition. They did this fancy, very modern back piece to it that's all like floor to ceiling glass and like exposed steel and everything, and it kind of sets you up for a certain level of expectation in terms of the rest of the stuff that they did touch. And like, so I ended up having to go to the bathroom, and they had these. What was cool about it was I think it was all it's the only gender non-specific bathroom I've seen where it's you just walk into the bathroom, everybody goes into the same bathroom like at once. Yeah. And it's just a bunch of stalls, and that's where the
okay, so that's how they have the genders mixed, because they're in a stall anyway, so you can't.
Yeah. And so the shared facilities are the you know, hand washing pieces. It's just one long counter with a bunch of sink bowls in it and everything. But the toilet stalls are all cordoned off.
They're floor to ceiling stalls?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool, thoughtful way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
However, they totally fucked it up because they did that thing. Tell me if this drives you crazy like it does me. You open the door swings into the stall
Mm-hmm.
to go in there. A fraction of an inch of clearance between the swinging edge of the door and the toilet.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it's a narrow stall. So you basically, I spend most of my life trying not to touch toilets.
Mm-hmm.
That's a key,
Yeah.
way up there on the hierarchy for me.
Yeah.
And I basically had to like crowd up against the toilet to even be able to close the stall door behind me.
Yeah.
And Pro, they had those, the self-flushing thing, it's just the sensor so that when you're done, it goes off or whatever. Con, not very far down my list past, not touching toilets. I really like to avoid like toilet spray when I flush a toilet as much as I possibly can. And so the way they tune these sensors, you zip up, you're done, ready to get out of there, go through the elaborate dance of trying to figure out how to open the door and like not be in its way as it's going out.
Yeah.
And the toilet just fires off as you're like right next to it, crowding out. Like everything about it. Again, I felt like I should probably bathe in lye or triclosan or something like that by the time I was getting out of it.
I used to be more like that about germs, but after I reached a certain point where I was like, fuck it. I'm sick of worrying about this shit,
Yeah,
it's just too much.
For me, somehow, I certainly, I used to be really bad about that stuff. Now it's kind of like maybe 5 or 10 minutes where I'm just bummed out about it. And a lot of that at this point is more about it just being horrible design and really inconsiderate.
It is bad design.
And it's also like, it's just dirty. It's not so much about like, oh, I've caught something or whatever. It's just like, God, it feels fucking gross. And, but yeah, I just couldn't believe, I don't know, anybody who's designing something like that should, I think, really be a lot more thoughtful. And it was a big bummer. Sometimes
those toilet sensors are set just so that, like, if you happen to put a sanitizing seat, what are those seats? Those sheets of paper?
Yeah, like a toilet seat cover.
Yeah, toilet seat cover down. As soon as you move your hand away from the cover, it flushes, and you're like, fuck, it gets flushed down the toilet.
It sucks it in.
And you're like, damn it, how are you supposed to put this thing on here? You have to, like, figure out how to get it on there without tripping off the sensor, There's probably a camera pointed at you while that's happening. I don't think anything... There's a guy laughing.
Yeah.
Like, making it flush every time you do that.
They probably have the sensitivity control in a like remote control room somewhere with the camera. They can just go, oh, this will be funny. We'll turn that up right now.
Yeah. But the toilets you described at the museum sound kind of like what they have in Japan. Almost all public toilets in Japan, the stalls, they go from floor to ceiling.
That's nice.
And they close so that there aren't cracks, so that you could... I hate how American public bathrooms are usually designed where it's like, you can take a shit, but you can usually see right in there because there's a huge
little glance as
gaping crack right at the doors, the hinges and where it closes. And like you could see their feet and everything, and it's like there's almost no privacy, it seems like.
Yeah.
And it stinks really bad too.
Shit, I think I just realized. Okay, so sometimes the reason they do what you're talking about is because they want you to have privacy, but they don't want you to have too much privacy.
You're in there doing drugs or something?
Or jerking off or having sex with there are two people in there.
That's true.
I think once they went full floor to ceiling with these, they went, we can't have these be nearly big enough for two people to be in here.
In here screwing, yeah.
Yeah. So
that's true. That's probably why they made it that narrow, right?
It's so bullshit, though. Like, you have to stand in the fucking toilet to be able to close the door.
Yeah, and that's probably something you have to worry about more. I mean, in Japan, generally speaking, people are very well-mannered and polite and courteous, considerate of public facilities. But in America, people will like take advantage, whatever situation they can get.
I mean, it's paid admission to the museum, though. How big of a problem? God, we just have this epidemic of museum goers coming in here and fucking. And like, what is the problem
I don't think
anyway?
That would happen.
If it happened, just hose it down and move on. Like, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, if it happened, it would generally be, younger people, like, on a date, perusing art together and getting horny or something. Like, hey, let's go to the gender-neutral bathroom over there. They got private stalls,
So you're saying you like that's okay. It's as long as they're not old, gross people.
Old, or like just vagabonds off the street. Like, let's wander in here and have some sex over there, and they got private stalls. Maybe it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. But it just seems like it would be slightly more hygienic. if it's younger.
Yeah.
I don't know, fresher people. some nasty old dude going at it in there.
We just, if you're going to do it, please be young and fresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good guideline. The other day I was crossing the street and this woman was waiting for me because, she was turning and I was crossing.
Mm-hmm.
And the car right behind her, the woman kept honking at this woman to hurry up.
Like she had no idea that someone was crossing the street.
I think she must have seen me because it was a wide open street. I'm like, why are you honking? Are you suggesting this person run me over or something? Is that what?
She's trying to run you over by proxy.
Yeah.
Just go.
Just
go.
Mow him down.
Look at that guy. Fuck that guy.
Get how slowly he's crossing the street. What a jerk. Yeah, maybe she would have run me over if she had been there.
Yeah, you were lucky.
Or cut me off by like inches. That used to happen in New York all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The drivers there are way crazier than here.
Mm-hmm.
Way less considerate. Like you'll be crossing the street and they'll literally just cut you off.
Mm-hmm.
So you could reach out and just touch their car,
Yeah, I experienced some of that visiting there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's us where, we have our moments where things like what you just described happen, but generally you feel fairly safe crossing the street and everything, right? And then there's Portland, where if you're walking along the sidewalk and you even consider, if the glimmer of a thought crosses your mind about crossing the street, all cars in a 50-foot radius screech to a halt.
Really?
To let it happen.
Wow. I know I've had my moments where I felt bad, like I was a little impatient about someone crossing the street or something. So I shouldn't get too, up on a high horse about it.
Well, it does. I don't know. When it feels unsafe, it sucks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as a driver, I'm not always the most patient person. So, yeah. Yeah, what can you do?
That's right. Okay, there's like a lot of names for muscles and things. There's like biceps and quadriceps. There's like these specific names for things like latissimus dorsi, and like a lot of them get shortened, like lats and like abs. Abs are actually abdominals. Mm-hmm. And that's because it's your abdomen, right? Yeah. Like that's the laziest naming of something I've ever heard of. Like you just add an AL at the end. It's an abdominal. I didn't feel like thinking about this anymore, so it's just an abdominal. Yeah. Like there's not, I was out, helping a friend move yesterday, and we didn't end up getting much of a break. I was like on my feet all day. Anyway, I'm paying for it today because my backles are just totally fucked.
Your what?
My backles.
Your backles? Oh yeah. That's a stupid sounding word.
Yeah.
Well, at least make it like a Greek or Latin based word, then it'll sound more.
That's true. I think that's how you get a pass on that.
Sophisticated or something, or scientific.
Greek or Latin, and it's automatically way fancier and okay.
Like, how do you say back in Latin or Greek? I don't know.
Anterior? Which one would that?
Posterior? I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's posterior.
By posterior.
Yeah, that's better.
Sounds a little more scientific or something, right? Mm-hmm. Fancy.
You can get some respect out of that. I like backle.
My backles are fucked. My frontals.
My frontals and my backles. My sidles.
Well, I think I'd like to say bye to you now. Because I'm sick of talking to you.
Bye. Goodbye.